But the big breaking news that's coming in today, the Karnataka schools from class 1 to 10 will reopen from Monday. However, class 11 and 12 will still remain shut for now amidst the hijab showdown in the state. The order comes after the Karnataka High Court today didn't give any interim relief to the petitioners and pushed the hearing to Monday. Appealing to maintain calm, the Chief Justice of Karnataka asked the students from refraining from religious wear in the college until a final decision was taken by the court. All of this, of course, coming against the backdrop of that hijab showdown in the state. The court appealing to the students to not wear religious outfits to schools and colleges and maintain peace till the next hearing of the High Court that's now scheduled for the 14th of February. It's our top story tonight.
There is no interim relief for students in Karnataka demanding permission to wear hijab. The Karnataka High Court on Thursday asked the colleges to reopen. It has asked students to desist from wearing hijab or saffron shawls or any other religious symbol. The next hearing on the plea filed by Muslim students against hijab ban is on Monday. The petitioners have called the hijab ban a suspension of their religious beliefs.
I don't think so. If a saffron shawl is a right to them, they can allow it. But they created this issue soon after we are wearing it. We are wearing it from before. Our ancestors, everybody used to wear this headscarf. Not only us, but everybody used to wear. I don't know where they brought a new rules. In India, for a girl to ask for a justice, she must have been trained or what? She should be trained for ask to justice. Some other people should be trained her to ask for justice. Why I can't raise my voice for a justice?
The Basavaraj Bommai government says schools and colleges will reopen in phases. It has urged students to maintain calm and cooperate.
All my school and college campuses are peaceful, and our students have behaved very well since last 2 days, very well, and I thank them for the restraint. I also appeal to everybody, students, teachers, parents, SDM members, management members, departmental officials to work together and see that there is a peace in the campuses.
Meanwhile, protests in support of women's choice to wear hijab are spreading across the country. In Tamil Nadu, the CPM student wing held a protest arguing that a woman's choice to wear any dress she wants is a fundamental right protected by the Constitution. Politics is adding fuel to the fire. The issue is resonating.
कुछ लोग चुनावों के समय अलग अलग प्रयोग करते हैं, वातावरण खराब करने का काम करते हैं, जो मुद्दे नहीं होते उनको मुद्दे बनाने का काम करते हैं। आखिरकार देश भर के स्कूलों में, कॉलेजेस में यूनिफॉर्म होती है, तो जहां पर जो रूल है वो रहना चाहिए।
हम हिजाब पहनेंगे।
While the political fight continues, the decision on whether the hijab ban is constitutional will be decided by the courts. In doing so, the courts will have to decide if wearing a hijab is essential to the practice of Islam. With Nolan Pinto, Nabila Jamal and Mustafa Sheikh, Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, one central question that has been raised in the courts is hijab essential to Islamic practice? And the question of hijab and the law in this country over the last few years. What do the court judgments say? I'm joined today by one of the country's leading constitutional scholars. Professor Faizan Mustafa, Vice Chancellor, NALSAR University of Law, is someone who studied Islam and the law very closely, and therefore we thought we'd get him on this contentious issue. Professor Faizan Mustafa, is the hijab an essential part of Islam or Islamic practice as prescribed by the Holy Quran, as the petitioners are claiming in the Karnataka High Court? What is your view?
Rajdeep, this whole essentiality test is problematic. And in Sabrimala, Supreme Court quoted my objections to the essentiality test. Because for some people it is essential and for others it is not. So there is a difference of opinion whether hijab is essential or is not essential. Ultimately, the relationship of the religion is between individual and God. And in United States also, it is the individual who decides what is essential and what is non-essential. But basically, the question is that there is a persuasive judgment from the Kerala High Court, where Kerala High Court 2 judges bench have said that hijab is an essential practice. There can be other benches which may disagree with this, view. There are cases from Kerala itself where they said that since so many Muslims don't sport a beard, therefore beard is not an essential Islamic practice. I feel that there is no issue as to religion. We should rather look it as a question of choice.
So essential practice or not, you're saying opinion is divided. There is no consensus on it. But since you brought up the Kerala High Court, you have the Amna Bashir versus CBSE case where hijab was held as an essential religious practice. But you've got Fatima Tasleen versus Kerala government, where the collective rights of an institution were seen to have primacy over individual rights. 2 students were not allowed to wear hijab and full garments. Do you believe that the law, therefore, is not settled at the moment? Do you believe that we need a clear Supreme Court judgment to settle this issue?
No, Supreme Court itself, Rajdeep, has referred the whole essentiality doctrine to a larger bench. You would recall that the Sabrimala review was accepted and certain questions were framed by Chief Justice Bobde. Due to COVID, that bench could not start the hearing. So Supreme Court itself is in doubt about the validity of the essentiality test. I'm not going into that. The Karnataka High Court is not bound by the Kerala High Court judgment. But basically, we should look at it that here are students who feel that they want to put on a hijab, which is not a full veil, and therefore should we stop them from attending classes just because they have put on a piece of cloth over their head? That is a question. And the prohibited grounds on the basis of which one can restrict religious freedom are public interest, health and morality. And none of these are going to be affected if some girls have put on hijab. I personally feel, if you would recall, in the Constant Assembly, Tajul Islam had suggested it, that an explanation be added to Article 25, that no one will put on any religious mark on his body. But we, being a diverse country, did not approve it. In my childhood, the school uniform was important because we wanted to ensure that rich people don't put on very costly attire. So then at that time, the school uniform provided equality. Now we are a country which believes in liberty. We believe not in the control model of the administration and governance, but in the liberty model. And in the liberty model, this kind of choice may be conceded. But I believe the whole thing has been politicized. Neither these girls should go this far to assert that they would necessarily have a hijab, nor that kind of opposition should be there from the college and other non-state actors. I think Muslim girls are lagging behind in education, and hijab should not become such an important issue that it leads to denial of their attendance in the class or attending of the classes.
Very wise words, Professor Mustafa. Let me though come to the fundamental legal battle between Article 25 that guarantees the freedom of religion, the freedom to propagate religion, and it is only restricted on grounds of public order, decency, morality, health. You have Article 25 being invoked by those who believe the girls have the right to wear hijab versus the right to equality, Article 14-15, which suggests that the school has the right to decide what uniform all the girls will wear. This balance between Article 14-15 and Article 25, does it need to be settled?
Yes, Rajdeep, basically the courts try to give effect to all fundamental rights. The harmonious construction theory roots right against arbitrariness. The kind of law and the rule which has come from the state of Karnataka, that is to be tested on the touchstone of manifest arbitrariness. If it is arbitrary, it will be violative of equality. In the Puttuswamy judgment, 9-judge bench judgment of the Supreme Court, right to privacy, they said, is an integral part of right to personal liberty. And what people eat and what dress they want to have, it is absolutely their personal choice. So I feel that there is some kind of a debate between the power of the state to regulate fundamental rights and have some kind of discipline in the schools and people's right to liberty. But what is unfortunate that there are some Muslim institutions in Chennai which insist on the cap or on the scarf even for non-Muslim students in the name of a minority institution. Now, even a minority institution cannot impose any dress code on the minority institution students. What to talk of non-minority students? So I am really sad that religion is occupying such a central position in our schools and educational institutions. Ideally, as a secular state, religion should have been relegated to the private space, and it should not have any space in the public square.
Let me one final question, because it's interesting. Hijab is banned, Professor Mustafa, in certain countries, Kosovo, Azerbaijan, Tunisia, Turkey, where the ban is gradually being lifted. Syria and Egypt. Hijab is mandatory in countries like Iran, Afghanistan. Women's choice in Indonesia, Malaysia, Morocco, Maldives, Somalia. Therefore, it appears even within the Islamic world, there is a divided opinion whether hijab is mandatory to a woman's attire or not. Am I clear or correct on that?
Yes, definitely, because the juristic opinion differs. Rajdeep, juristic opinion on this differs.
Right.
But covering of head and wearing a decent dress, all schools will compete.
Okay. I think you've given us a sense of where the law stands and the fact that you cannot allow arbitrariness to govern the law. As well as importantly, you seem to suggest that there is no convincing proof that it is an essential practice as devised in the Quran. Thank you very much, Professor Mustafa, for giving us a sense of where the law and stands on this contentious issue. That issue will keep boiling.